Are we ready? We're ready. Chewy milk. Alrighty, let's go. Greetings, my beautiful lovelies. It's Emmy. How are you? It's great to see you and welcome back. Today, I'm going to be making a recipe that has about 40 million views. 40 million views on YouTube, and it is for chewy milk. The recipe comes from Home Cooking here on YouTube. I'll put a link down below to the original, and the recipe looks really accessible. We're supposed to be able to make chewy milk in 3 minutes. It looks like a kind of mochi dessert that's made with milk, some sugar, and some starches. We're going to make a dough, cut it, and then taste it. Because in the video, they don't taste it, or at least they don't taste it on camera. They don't show the inside texture, all the things I want to know about a recipe. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing we're gonna need are some flames, some fire. So in a non-stick pan, we're gonna combine all of our ingredients first before we apply any heat. We're gonna add some glutinous rice flour. Now this is rice, it's been ground up, but glutinous rice, which is also known as sticky rice or sweet rice. There are 2 different kinds of rice flours. Make sure you get the right one. Glutinous. Bloop. People ask me all the time if they can do substitutions. Of course you can do substitutions, but the texture will probably not be the same. So, you know, do you. Alrighty, next we have some starch. This is potato starch. And sometimes I've seen this used interchangeably with cornstarch, but cornstarch thickens at a different temperature, and again, it will affect the final product. So, we have 2 starches here, and now we're going to add some plain old granulated sugar. Right in there, a pinch of salt, and the milk portion of this. This is almost a cup of whole milk. Add that in there, and we're going to mix this first before we add any heat. So far, very simple. And we're doing this to try to avoid any lumping. And now we're going to add some heat. And it doesn't say what heat, but I'm going to go with a medium heat. And we're going to stir this constantly. I'm just going to jump away for just a second. I know I said constantly, but just a second. I'm going to grab a plate because we're going to need to cool this off onto something. Now back to stirring. Now the starches are absorbing water from the milk, and the heat will cause them to kind of gelatinize. Oh, here we go. I'm seeing some lumps. I'm going to turn down this heat just a little bit. I'm seeing some thickening happening here. This happens fast. Okay, so as it's thickening, I'm lifting it off the heat a bit. Kind of calm down that, because that's looking bad. That's looking like a terrible gravy occurrence. I'm not going to be too alarmed. I'm going to switch to a spatula and keep mixing. And this should pull away from the skillet entirely once we get it to the consistency we want. Oh my gosh. Talk about a workout. Okay. It's just really gummy. Still looks too sticky. I've got the heat on low. I'm starting to get some lumpage, which I'm not too excited about. Let me just try stirring it off the heat for a second here. This countertop's a little high for me. Okay, I'm gonna put it back on the heat. This definitely seems like it needs to cook a bit more. Oh, glasses. Oh, by the way, these glasses are from glassesusa.com. People ask me all the time where I get my glasses. I put a link down below to them. So if you'd like to get a pair of glasses, you can do so. All right. It is starting to bubble. Okay, that's good. Okay, I think we're getting there. See how it's starting to do that? Okay, this is good. But it didn't seem to take this long. I suspect it was a different type of sweet glutinous rice flour. I'm not sure. No specific brands were offered. I'm using a Thai brand of sweet glutinous rice. I also weighed out all my ingredients rather than doing volumetric measure. So I followed the recipe precisely measuring out 200 mils of milk and gram measurements for both the starch and the rice flour. So I'm gonna go with that because at this point I've cooked this for well over 3 minutes. The video says it's a 3-minute recipe, and it's starting to stick here on the bottom. I think that's gonna affect the texture. All right, turn off the heat. Because I have concerns that this is going to stick, I'm gonna add just a little bit of neutral flavored oil here, i.e. flavorless oil, and plop this right onto the dish. Unfortunately, a lot of the mixture stuck to the pan. Look at that, so much. So I'm gonna have to soak this. Now it's a matter of shaping this blob and patting it into something that we can shape into little bite-sized pieces. So I'm gonna flip this over. Even on this oiled surface, it wants to stick. Why? So home cooking does this really delightful thing by patting the dough into submission. It's very cute. So we're gonna do that. Pat, 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 pat. Oh my gosh, it looks like a little pair of butt cheeks. Oh my gosh, look at that. So cute. So we're gonna pat this, and now we're gonna chill it for half an hour so that we can cut this, and then we'll give it a taste and see what the chewy milk is like. Alrighty lovelies, I am back. So I placed the chewy milk into the refrigerator on this plate, and I covered it with a little bit of plastic wrap, but the chewy milk stuck to the plate pretty miserably. I let it sit in there for half an hour, and it was so sticky that I wrapped it in some plastic wrap into a little kind of cylinder. And now I'm going to cut it into shape so that we can give it a taste. So this is the texture we have, and it is much softer than what is shown in the video. Much softer, even after it's cooled. But I was surprised when I started cutting it that it actually holds a shape and looks pretty cute. I mean, still pretty cute. I'm using this bench scraper to cut it into pieces. And it makes pretty clean cuts, so happy about that. But this is certainly not moldable. In the home cooking video, they don't show at all how to shape this. They just have it cut, and then all of a sudden they're these perfect kind of rounded cornered cubes, and they don't show how to do that. So this is going to be too sticky to shape in any kind of Play-Doh-like fashion. Like, see, just too sticky. But it does look very chewy. But this is finished at this point. I think besides getting it into that perfect cube shape, this is just ready to eat. They show dusting it with a bit of cocoa powder, making it flavored with chocolate, another option as well. But that's pretty much it. Alrighty, my lovelies, here are the chewy milks. Let's finally give them a taste. They turned out pretty cute. They look a lot like mochi, a little bit smaller in size. Look, see, definitely squishier and stretchier in consistency. These are supposed to be chewy milks after all. Very cute. Alrighty, let's give this a taste. Here we go. Itadakimasu. Kind of similar to mochi, but not as kind of rubbery, but kind of silky, soft, chewy, elastic. But not as stretchy and sticky as mochi. Mochi's very elastic and stretchy and kind of rubbery. This is more of like a gel and has a nice bounce to it. A little bit easier to get through, but sticky. Definitely chewy. This is definitely a chewy milk recipe. The flavor is very plain. It's lightly sweetened. In the description, the recipe said 3 tablespoons of sugar, but when you watch the video, they used a spoon that's like this, and it's about 1 teaspoon. So I put 3 teaspoons of sugar. It's lightly sweetened, kind of similar to mochi in sweetness, not overly sweet. If I had used 3 tablespoons, that would have shifted the ratio of flour to sugar to be about 50%, which is way more than what was shown in the video. And so I think the level of sweetness is fine for this style of dessert. The flavor of milk kind of comes through. It's a light kind of milky flavor, dairied, but for me it's mostly about that texture, that kind of jelly, bouncy, chewy texture. As far as the dessert goes, I feel like it needs something else. They also show using some cocoa powder, so I'm going to try dusting a little cocoa powder on top. This is really dark cocoa powder, and see how that changes things. Cute, right? Boop, 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 boop. Alrighty. Yes, definitely add some cocoa powder. It gives it another facet of flavor instead of just being kind of flat. It makes it more tasty. It's still very lightly sweetened, especially I think for Western palates, but an improvement. But would I make this recipe again? Probably not. I really just wanted to see what was behind the 40 million view hype. In terms of texture, it was fun. In terms of flavor, it's pretty flat. And yeah, for 3 minutes, I think I would probably do a piece of honey toast. Alrighty, my lovelies, there you have it. Chewy milk. I hope you enjoyed that one. I hope you learned something. Please share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media, like this video, subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Toodaloo, take care, bye!
Chewy milk, chewy milk, chewy, 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 chewy milk.